So, and this, I'm sure, none of you who have studied acting in other places, college, like Cimber was a cinema major at University of Arizona. I don't know all of you who studied different acting. But we're going to try something a little bit that maybe take you out of the realm of the normal. We're not going to do any sense memories or any stuff yet. Here's what we're going to do and start with, okay? I want you all, without consulting with one another, I want you all to write 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3, in which you tell me who you are. Now that doesn't mean I want you to say, hi, my name is Jeff Floss. Jeff Floss is number 1, number 2, no. But who you are as people. Okay? I want you to give me 3 self-structures of what you are as people. So you write 1, 2, and 3. It's, who am I? That's what it is. You have to say to yourself, who am I? Okay? So now, take your time, think about it, okay? Just remember, I don't want you to say, I'm a waitress, and my name is so-and-so. No. Who are you? What is there? What things about you that you will describe in 1 line? 3 of them. Okay? You can shut the camera for now. Okay, are we all finished? Hello?
Yes.
Some of you don't. Some of you don't seem like you're too excited about what I asked of you. I asked of you to give me, to answer the question, who am I? Okay? And 3 hopefully positive thoughts. Now why? Why, Nick? I want you to pay attention. Because if you can't do it about yourself, how are you going to do it about a character you're going to portray? Not only that, but if you seek into yourself, you'll know what to look for in a character that you're going to portray. And how you can give that character colors, purpose, okay, and relationships. Part of your job as an actor is to define who the character is that you're playing. And you want to give it a truth, you want to give it a reality, so that if you look for those qualities in that character, you'll know what qualities in yourself that you have to awaken, or that you have to face or think about. Okay? And it's very, very important, I think, for you to know who you are in order for you to find out what a character is. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay? And as difficult as it is for you to think about who you are, it could be that difficult to find out what you are. I love you could be said 15 different ways, 30 different ways. So when you're trying to figure out what that way is, you'll find out something about yourself and how you'll put that into your character. recently I watched Silver Lining. This Jennifer Lawrence, who I had never seen the film. She has a moment in it that is more than Academy Award winning. Is he tells her finally at the end, he gives her a letter, if you've ever seen the film, he gives her a letter telling her that he loves her. And she looked up at him and the camera went in on her, and she looked up and she said, "You love me?" But the way she said it came right out of her character, gave us an emotion that you know has got to be something that Jennifer Lawrence herself has to have used somewhere or felt, because she says it very defensively. "You love me." Like people have told her that, but she couldn't trust it. In one line, 3 words, and she sent that whole piece over. That's your job. It's just like the guy in Rocky who's sitting behind the wheel. Somebody says to him that morning, his wife said, "Where you going?" He says, "Oh, I got a bit part in the movie." And yet that big part becomes almost a major part of what the audience is eventually going to feel. When he says, "Hey, you're a bum, you'll never get anywhere," and Rocky gets really excited, and we understand that Rocky isn't content to be a bum. And that was Stallone's point in writing that scene in. So no scene is just written in there for no reason. Every scene, every moment has a reason. Okay? And it has, for you as the actor, or you as the director, or you as a writer creating, you have to understand what that moment, it isn't just something you put in. Oh, it'd be fun to have this guy driving the car and say, "Hey, Rocky, you're a bum." Because at the very climax of the film, the end of the second act of a story is the climax. That's the end. The story is over. Now, the third act is just to see how it all comes out. Okay? And at the end, he says, "I just don't want people to think I'm a bum." So you see, it's all laid throughout. And you, the more intelligent you are about this kind of setup, the better off you're going to be. So did you all find it very difficult?
Not really.
Not really?
Mm-hmm.
This?
Yeah,
Not at all.
not at all. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Nick, you could start.
Sure.
What's your 3 answers?
I'm a highly motivated, inspired, and driven creator. I'm a man whose actions speak louder than my words. I'm a man of 2 souls, one of a lover and one of a fighter.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a hypocrite. I like to express my feeling, but at the same time, I'm insecure that people know about me. I don't want people to know about me. And I am not materialistic, but I want so much money in my life. And I don't like injustice, but I like the thrill of doing bad things.
I'm a benevolent soul. I'm my mother and father's son. I am a Los Angeles,
I want to love and be loved. I aim to help move society forward. And then my last one's I'm warm.
Would you read that second one, please?
I aim to help move society forward.
You aim to help society move forward
Yes, through actions.
through your actions. What's your third one?
I'm warm and playful.
You what?
Warm and playful.
Anna?
I'm a searching for my road.
Say it a little louder, please.
I'm a searching for my road. The state that I'm in is a state of a dreamer. I sense other people's needs and energies, and that makes me empathetic. And empathy? Is there like, can you make like a
Empathetic.
Empathetic. Okay, now let me say this to you. There are no correct answers. It's how you see yourself. But it's interesting because I think you all did a very good job of self-analysis, or a feeling about yourself, or a feeling about a thing. I think you had a very good one, Jeff, your last one. I think you had a very determined one. And I think that in understanding that, and understanding what you were trying to do yourself, now somebody hands you a script, and you start reading these words on a page. Okay? Now you know you have to look for those things in that character, in the person they're asking you to portray, and how it relates to everything else within the storyline. Yes.
Let's just say that,
I won't say if you keep your hand in front of your
well,
mouth.
that role, like say you get a script, but that character doesn't fit like who you see yourself as. Would that be something that you shouldn't work on, or is that something that you should kind of craft yourself towards?
No, because I think you definitely should. If you get the opportunity, too few opportunities come in the professional world and a chance to portray. However, I'm willing to wager that you will find the essence of what you found in yourself in the character, not the same thing, but you'll find those things that apply to the character. You both had to do, all of you had to do a self-feeling, a self-analysis of yourself in order to come up with these answers. So now, when an actor says to me in a rehearsal or in a pre-shooting, he says, you know, I think this guy really wants her to fail. I think this guy, I'm getting that feeling that he really, that's how he's treating her. He makes believe he really loves. And all of a sudden, this actor is finding things in his character. Why? Because he could find himself. Okay, now the chances are that most people you're going to portray are people that have something, you know, we're a bit of everything. It's like I love actors who say I love to play villains because somewhere inside me there's a villain, and sometimes I got hate for somebody. I don't surface it in my life, but now's the chance to do it. Did you ever hear an actor say that? Okay, many actors used to say that I love playing villains because they got out that feeling that they suppress. We suppress it in society maybe, and in our daily lives. However, playing a character that doesn't suppress it, it's like watching Jack Nicholson play that wild character he played in the film.
The Departed?
Not The Departed, where he was totally out of his mind. He's trying to kill his wife.
Oh, The Shining?
The Shining, of course. In order to find that, you know, who knows what he had to dig into to get it and enjoy playing it. Okay? But that same thing happens very good. I'll give you an example. I made a film, I made a film called, God, the name of the film jumps away from me. because I'm trying to think of the name of the actress. Hang on, it'll come. You imagine it's a whole movie, and it gets so much play even now, 35 years after I made it.
Butterfly?
No, this was way preceded Butterfly. God, that's terrible. You forget the name of the movie. And somebody just did, and they keep re-releasing it, and recently they played it on the BBC in London.
Should cut this part out.
Oh, The Witch Who Came from the Sea. And the girl who played the witch who came from the sea became famous when she played the Diary of Anne Frank. In fact, it was her first acting role, and she got nominated for an Academy Award for her first acting role, which was The Witch Who Came from the Sea, which was a metaphor of Venus rising from the sea. And the girls, I gotta now think of the actress. She became really very famous for trivia because in one of Elvis Presley's movies, she played his girlfriend, and 30 years later, she played his mother in a TV series. She played, what the heck's her name? She's very famous. Anyway, her husband was my instructor at Yale. And he was a terrific guy and a terrific writer, and he wrote this very sick script. I mean, very sick. I think he was a sick guy. Anyway,
Is it
he said,
Miley Perkins? Or
Millie Perkins.
Millie.
Millie Perkins, yeah, thank you. He sent me the script, and at the time she was very hot because she had just finished Diary of Anne Frank. She was he said, Matt, if you'll direct it, she will definitely play it. And after I read it, it was shocking. At the time, it was totally shocking. Okay? And she said she would play it. So we went into it. Now, if you know Millie Perkins and you saw the original Diary of Anne Frank, she has this angelic look and this sweet, wonderful delivery. Until today, God bless her, she's 74 years old. She still works like crazy. And whenever I see her, I have to laugh because she has this soft, wonderful delivery. And this script they sent me, if you see The Witch Who Came from the Sea, it's a very difficult film to watch. Opening night, it opened on Hollywood Boulevard, and they had a big red carpet opening, and she was dating Jack Nicholson at the time, and Nicholson came out and said, Matt, that's a very sick film. She plays a serial killer, and she plays a serial killer whose father had abused her as a child. And in the flashbacks, you see this little girl with this father, and some of the scenes are very raw. Not that you see them having sex. But in any event, it was really very, very strong at the time. When I went before the MPAA to get the rating, there were two women on the board who said, Mr. Cimber, this subject should never be in cinema. You know, at the time, Pillow Talk was the big film with Doris Day and Rock Hudson. You know, and everybody, you couldn't say that Rock Hudson really never wanted to go to bed with Doris Day. He wanted to go to bed with the guy on the script. But you couldn't say that at the time. So we were living in that closed kind of society. So when the picture opened, it caused a huge, huge problem. And what it is, it was The Witch Who Came from the Sea was Venus. If you ever see the artwork to it, it's really brilliant that they did with this character. And they said, she knows how to cut men down to size. And what she did, this sweet, angelic person, she took these men and she cut their nuts off.
Oh, God.
And that's how and she was doing it. And the ending of the picture is very touching. So the whole object of this script was, and the challenge was, when he wrote it, the object was, how do you have empathy for a girl who's killing people? And the only one he thought who could really pull it off was Millie, because all throughout she's so sweet and so angelic and so together. And here she is cutting the nuts off these guys. And at one point you see her sawing, you know, and the blood shooting out. I went all on with it. And the ending is very touching. And so the compliment to everybody was that at the end, you actually have a feeling about her. I don't want to say which in case you see it. But in any event, I ended up, I had never met Millie until I made this film. And I ended up using her in another film. She did another film for me that we shot up in Tahoe. And it was an action drama with Lola Falana. You don't remember who Lola Falana was. She was a big star at the time, black girl. And in it, Millie plays an assassin she and this couple, they meet in a hotel in the gambling casino, and she's set up to kill the witness who's going to witness for the mafia. Believe it or not, this goes back to 1972. And at the end of the film, you realize when the shootout happens that she's a guy. And so everybody said, you have Billy playing a guy. He was a guy in drag. You know, again, nobody had ever seen anybody portrayed in drag in 1972, but it was very good. In any event, so the challenge becomes, Millie has her first scene where she ties up these two guys in a bed. They think they're going to get laid. And she comes out of the bathroom with this razor in their hands. And she starts cutting them, you know? And she only has a small razor. And the line I gave her when she was doing it, she says, oh, this is going to take forever. You know, and she's cutting these people. So, the idea, if you see the DVD they put out, Quentin Tarantino had a company put out the DVD on it. See, he loved the film. This was sick. And if you see the interview, you know, they do those little interviews after what she said about how she was more concerned about having that I had to play a guy in a movie than having to play this woman. But it had to put a certain sense, because I have her in almost every sequence of the film. Okay? How many of you remember who Lonnie Chaplin is? There's the Lonnie Chaplin Theater over here. Lonnie Chaplin was a great teacher under Lee Strasberg, and he was a good buddy of mine. And he just died recently. He plays a boyfriend in it, and he's a great acting teacher. And he said to me, you know, on the set, he says, I don't know how you're getting Millie to do this stuff, because it's so anti-Millie. You know, how do you play this ferocious kind of killer with this soft, wonderful, angelic feeling of the horror of what you're inflicting? You know? And we do flashbacks in which we see her as a little girl. Her father is a sicko. And he abuses her when she's 6, 7 years old. You know, it's hard to believe that somebody could do that, but they do. In any event, so when you say, well, if the character doesn't have what I have, all right, if the character doesn't have what I have, then what am I playing? No, the idea is to find out what the character has, and then find out something in yourself that you can make work for you as this person. You have that challenge in your film. What do you call your film? I'm sorry.
Last page.
What?
Last page.
Last page. That's a good end. Then I think it's going to make a very good 4 or 5 minute short film. Okay? But I think that you found something that you have to play that has to do, and you're going to play it, that has to do with desperation.
Mm-hmm.
This girl is desperate. And the theme of her play is the only time you can really find escape from tension in life is when you die. Because life is all of that, especially life in our society. Okay? It's very difficult to escape anguish. And I think that she captured it in this short script. Because at the end, the girl looks very settled. Whereas when we see her in the room, she's totally under pressure. Like we all have to live through in the society that we live in. Not everybody, but you can be sure a major majority. Okay? Now, what we're doing is, you don't have any more copies of the script?
I do.
Yeah. Now, what we're doing, the whole group participates in every film that we're going to shoot. So there are these characters out on the street, and the voices at the beginning, and we never see them. We're never on the street till the end, and even then, they're only voices. So you guys are going to play different characters, but you're going to have to do your character within your voice. It's like radio acting. Okay? And I got to tell you, it's a great exercise, because all we're going to hear are your voices, except for the cop. The cop is the only one we see when we go out on the street. We see the cop looking down. In fact, we may not even see the cop. We may only see the back of his head with his uniform, and come down to her face, and she says, okay? So, and you may play multiple characters, but I want the challenges. I want you to give me a sense of the character by what you do with your voice. I want to be able to imagine what that person possibly looks like. You follow me? That's going to be the challenge.